Mark, I'm guessing that there were some good things, some bad things that came out of the GLVC. Maybe not bad, but the first real year for the GLVC to have a swim championship. And how did it all go?
I'd say for us, it really couldn't have gone any better. I mean, I'd say we were close to a perfect meet.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, other than day one jitters, which happens no matter what.
I would think, yeah.
Especially with the caliber of competition we had. I mean, we had a couple of guys and a couple of girls that didn't quite do their absolute, like, perfect swim that first day. But I think a lot of it was pre-race jitters, and you know, once that first day happened, then the team was kind of all business from here on out.
Well, then, are you reasonably satisfied with the way this first championship went for you?
Oh, absolutely. We broke 26 of the possible 38 school records, and I think 17 of them were on the guys' side. So the guys really couldn't have done any more than they did. The girls were, and the ones that they didn't get, they were very close. Right. So it was a rock solid meet for our team from start to finish. As
far as the team results go, I know you were expecting Drury to come in there and kind of blow people away, and that's kind of what happened, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But I do have to take my hat off to Missouri S&T. Their men came to play, and they were the most impressive team for their ability at that meet.
Well, let's talk about some individuals. How about medalists first? Who medaled for you?
We had 2 medalists, and for those of you that do not know, the GLVC only medals top 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've never seen
that before. I didn't know that.
It's something that we'll discuss this week, because swimming is usually top 3, but no, they honored the first and second place finishers, and we had a second place finish from Maggie Metz in the 400 IM. That was on Friday, and then Nathan Graber finished second place in the 200 butterfly on Saturday. 2
pretty top-tier kids. Did they perform to their potential, do you feel?
I'd say, I mean, we couldn't really have asked any more of them, so we're pretty happy with how they did.
And how do they stand now on the national level to go to the national swim?
Maggie she needed to get under 4:30 in the 400 IM to have a shot, and she was right at 4:30 again. So she's sitting 25th right now. Last year on the women's side, they took 18 or 19 girls, depending on the event. So she's already outside of that bubble. Nathan Graber, we're kind of living on the edge here. He's sitting 13th after all the results were tabulated this morning. So last year they took 12 or 13, depending on the individual event last year. So we got to keep our fingers crossed that he can get into that meet.
Well, Coach, talk about what his life is like right now as he waits to see. What is he doing?
Well, he's back in the water just in case, because last year, actually, one of my friends watched his kid swim in the 200 fly, and he was finished right around where Nathan's at right now, and he just said, yeah, you're not going to get in. There's 3 conference meets, and then the following Monday, no one had beat him, and he's like, called him up and said, you're in the meet, you better get to the pool. So
wow.
Kind of learned from that mistake that a friend of mine sade, so we're just being prepared just in case. But yeah, it's a little anxiety, just constantly looking at results, and unfortunately the 200 fly is always swum on the very last day. And the New South will run Wednesday through Saturday. There's the Florida Sunshine State Conference. Their meet will run Wednesday through Saturday. And then the PSAC, which is the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, they have about 8 Division II schools that have swimming there. Their conference meet always runs Thursday through Sunday. So, and the 200 fly will be on Sunday of that meet. So we're going to have to wait all the way until the very last day of the qualifying.
Well, let's say you wait and he does qualify. How big of a deal would that be for your program?
Oh, that would be huge. I mean, the fact that he already went as fast as he did, and the fact that a lot of the swimmers on the team that have gone with the times that they've gone, I couldn't be any happier with being in year 3. And we had seven swimmers on our team achieve NCAA B qualifying standards. So
nice.
That's significantly more than we had last year.
Right.
And Nathan actually eclipsed the invited time from last year by 1.08 seconds. So the rest of the country's just gotten significantly faster.
Well, so it's out of his hands right now, but we're very pleased with what he was able to put up there.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything he could.
Yeah.
We could not have. I mean, he broke the school record in the 100 butterfly in the front half of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, we couldn't have asked him to do anything more. I mean, he went for it. He was racing a guy that was seated ahead of him and ranked ahead of him, and we talked before, and if he found a way to beat this guy Daniel Chan from Indianapolis, he was going to have a shot at going to nationals.
Right,
so
right.
he really did make a move, and he threw everything he had at him.
How about other kids that swam well for you this weekend? Any other highlights?
Well, I'd say on the women's side, I mean, I couldn't have asked Mariah Bryant to do any more than she did. She went lifetime best every time she dove in practically. Even when she went a best time in the 100 freestyle in prelims, I wasn't happy with it. Kind of let her know, and she made a big adjustment at night and went that much faster, and she broke Maggie Metz's school record in the 100 free in finals. So,
and again for the Cardinals, Maggie Metz in lane 3. Heather Sestola is in lane 2. Maggie Metz is a 5'5" junior from Topeka, Kansas.
She went 24:01. So,
and
Sestola dropping minimal
from Lawrence, Kansas.
I mean, I found out at the meet that she had the best start in the GLVC. There wasn't anybody that was near her after about the first 12 and a half right off the gate. So we got to do a little bit of work to be able to hold on a little more. So I'm very excited about that. But she also surprised us and scored points in the 100 backstroke. She dropped almost 2 seconds off her lifetime best in that event. So and then she played a key role in 3 relays that broke her school records. Freshman Paige Meredith made a B cut in the 100 butterfly. She broke her own school record in that event. And then we did a little experiment against Bellarmine last week, or the last dual meet, and Paige Meredith, she swam the 200 IM for the first time in college. Okay. And she that time converted to around a 2:15, so we entered her with that 2:15, but she threw down a 2:08.6 and broke the school record by over a second.
Wow, yeah, that's significant.
She ended up qualifying top 8. So Paige really, she was having a lot of fun this weekend, and I mean, she put a lot of pressure on herself to do well this year, and we're very happy with how she performed. And then the only other 2 that I do want to mention before we finish is we did have 2 seniors, both on the women's side, and Stella Jean Wilson provided huge points for our women on the 1 and 3 meter diving board. So she finished 4th on both boards, which is that's 30 points for our team. So she scored just about as many as our top swimming girls. So we couldn't have really done it without her. Yeah. And then lastly, senior Rachel Baronic swam her last college meet, and even though she didn't make it back in the 100 butterfly, she went her best time of 1:01.8, which was her best time by 1.3 seconds. And then also she finished 10th in the 200 butterfly with a 2:13, and coming into Jewel, she was 1:06 and 2:28. So for her 3 years later to go those times, I could not be happier with how she finished up.
How about on the men's side? Highlights there?
On the men's side, I mean, can't put a finger on who had the best overall meet. Someone who scored probably the most points for our team was junior Matt Luton. He was one that I think had a little bit of pre-race jitters on that first day because he added 2 seconds from his 1,000, even though training-wise this year everything was just kind of green-lighting us that he was going to shatter that time. But he did well. He kind of played it a little too safe on the front end, and I mean, it was noticeable. A lot of the coaches even said, "Man, that kid really back-halfed it," right. And he did. So we knew he was ready to go. And the next day, he stepped it up and broke the school record in prelims in the 500 free, and that he didn't have. And so he got that record and then made top 8. And then he dropped his time even more in finals. He picked up the B cut in the 500 free for the very first time ever. His B, even though he had an off swim in the 1,000 the night before, he did still get a B cut in that event. He played a huge role on our 800 free relay. He has the second fastest relay split now in school history in the 200. And then he played a big role in our 200 free relay, 400 free relay. He anchored our 400 medley relay. And then on the last day of the meet, he dropped his best time in the mile by 5 seconds and finished 4th. So he was very close to medaling in that event. On top of that, Daniel Day, sophomore, really is starting to show us what we thought he was capable of. Last year, we really kind of felt we needed to rest him more. In fact, I really kind of rested the entire team more. And I know we talked about the Tabor Blues.
Right.
And
yep.
They had it. Trust me, they were experiencing it, and a lot of them, weren't really even feeling all that great going right into the meet. But when they stepped on the blocks and raced, the results spoke for themselves. Daniel lowered his school record in the 200 IM by well over a second. His 400 IM, he bettered that time by almost 3.5 seconds. And he picked up his very first ever B cut. He made the B cut in the 400 IM, and For those of you that know swimming, 4:02 is no slouch time in the 400 IM, and unfortunately that's not going to be close to getting invited. It's going to take about a 3:58, but I mean, when I swam in college, that's granted, this is going to date myself, 4:02 would be top 8 in the country.
Really?
But that was a long time ago. But then Daniel also, you know, he won his best time in the 200 butterfly by almost a second and got top 8 in that event as well. So did very well. And then the only other, well, we had, I mean, there were more. I could go down the line, but we had a freshman, Lane Bland, finished 5th in the mile. So, and that was only his third time ever swimming the event.
Wow.
So for somebody, the very third time ever doing it, to finish 5th in the GLVC, like, that says a lot about what he's going to be able to. And he was with Matt probably around 1,200 into that race.
Right.
So he was right there, and we just gotta put a little bit of work together and see how fast he can go. We had a guy, Max Bennett, who came in. He didn't have a single individual school record, and Max walked away at one time. He had the 50 free, the 100 back, and the 100 butterfly, and then, until Nathan stole his 100 butterfly. But Max was on all 4 relays, and all 4 relays broke school records, and I couldn't have been more pleased with how he did. And then we also had a guy come off injury, Josh Sawyers, who hadn't swam a meet since the Show Me Showdown, and he ended up going lifetime best in everything he swam.
Wow.
Which we couldn't have asked him to do anything more. And in fact, we actually declared false started him in the 100 freestyle because his shoulder was bugging him, and he told me he had one more swim left in him, so we figured we'd scratch him from the individual so we could have him for the 400 free relay at night, and he produced in that last swim.
Okay, the first time GLVC meet, are they planning on keeping it in Indiana now, or is that to be discussed?
We really don't know yet. I mean, the Crawfordsville High School really, I mean, they put on a good meet. I was absolutely floored with how well the GLVC did. I've never been to a conference championship where there was so much conference like signage all over. It was, you know, GLVC championships, you know, GLVC 35th anniversary. I mean, everywhere you looked, they even had GLVC on the flag. So,
nice.
I mean, they went all out, and I mean, I think I'm speaking on behalf of all 8 coaches at the conference when we were very impressed with how well they did.
Finally, let's look at your program a little bit here. After now 3 years, can you kind of give us a state of the program statement? I mean, how do you feel after 3 years?
I feel pretty good. I mean, we still have a lot to do as far as like you know, coming together completely as a team. You know, basically everybody's got to really, I don't want to say buy into the process, but almost fall in love with the process, because really the training and the daily routine is what produces those times. And the folks that come with the I'd say with the 95% of the time being mentally there are the ones that are really excelling. So it's just, we gotta kind of elevate our focus as a group. But I'd say that the overall focus of the group this year was significantly higher than it was last year, and last year it was significantly higher than year one. So it's just going to take constantly recruiting kids that are going to help elevate in the program in some ways, regardless of whether it's, you know, academically or team-wise or swimming-wise. We're just always going to be trying to get better.
Thanks, Mark, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for Nathan Graber.